Hello again, my precious friends. Welcome back to Aunt Patty's Kitchen. Today, I'm going to show you what I love to make and I love to use. It is a sweet chili sauce, which is great for dressing anything from minced ground beef nuggets to wings to another recipe that we're going to make real soon, some Asian recipes that I'm working on that we're going to have up real soon. And right now we are going to get started. It is a sweet Thai chili sauce, which ordinarily has bunches of sugar in it, but we're going to do it in a sugar-free version. We are going to be using erythritol. So if erythritol is not something that you do, you could think of replacing allulose, or you maybe xylitol if you can tolerate that. I don't have an equivalency for a very, very low bulk sweetener like stevia. So I suppose you could just try putting everything together and then using stevia glycerite at the end to make it as sweet as you wanted to. I've never done that before. I'd have to try it out to see how it worked. But if one of you decides that you'd like to try that, feeling adventurous, I would love to hear how that goes in the comments of the video. But for right now, here we go with my recipe, which uses an erythritol-based brown sugar substitute. Okay, here we go. First of all, as usual, we're going to talk about hardware, which is very simply a small saucepan. This is a 1 quart saucepan, has a cup of plain water in it. Okay, a whisk. I have a silicone coated whisk because my pan is nonstick. A flexible spatula or scraper. This is also silicone, but you could use a rubber one as long as you were careful, because it's not going to get that hot. A clean jar for storing your finished sauce. This is a repurposed jar from some olives, I think. I repurpose store-bought jars all the time. I reduce the amount of plastic I use in my kitchen, and I reduce the number of storage containers that I have to buy. Anyway, it just seems like a waste to throw away such a useful thing. And just for convenience, not strictly necessary, but a wide mouth funnel is very, very helpful for getting the sauce from the pan into the jar neatly. So there's that. Now, for the software we've already discussed, there is 1 cup, 8 ounces of water in here in this pan. And we're going to start it off on high heat just to get it started, because we need it to get going. Sorry for that glare. There we go. That helps. So here we go. Here is our software. Pardon my messy sink that you can see in the background. There we go. Now, the rest of our ingredients are a half a cup of the aforementioned erythritol brown sugar substitute. You can just do this. Excuse me, Missy, I'm busy. Missy wants to be involved. You could just use regular old powdered erythritol. You could use Lakanto monk fruit and erythritol blend. You could use allulose. You could use whatever kind of sweetener you want. As I said, I don't have a recipe for this for a really low volume sweetener like Splenda liquid or monk fruit liquid or anything like that. All the times I've made it with an erythritol based or an allulose based granulated sweetener. Here we have half a cup of rice wine vinegar, or you could also use white wine vinegar, or apple cider vinegar, or just plain white vinegar. Here we have 2 tablespoons of just purchased chili garlic paste packed in oil. This is 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, a tablespoon of garlic, which was minced to a paste by running the garlic cloves across my microplane grater. Just peel the garlic cloves and just grate them right across the microplane grater, and just keep grating enough garlic cloves until you have a tablespoon's worth. And here we have a little bit less than a tablespoon of fresh ginger that was treated exactly the same way as the garlic was. Just grated a whole piece of garlic root across my microplane grater until I had the right amount. Here we have 2 teaspoons. Sometimes I think I'm getting better at getting things in the shot, and then sometimes I think I'm not. This is 2 teaspoons of toasted sesame oil. This is optional, but I really, really like it. You can leave it out if you want to. And this is a 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum powder. You need something. You can substitute this with guar gum, although xanthan gum is more carnivore friendly, I think, than guar gum. And guar gum bothers some people. This is boiling, so we're going to pull it off the heat because I don't want the water to boil away. So we need, there's a piece of cilantro in here. We don't need that. There we go. We need something to thicken the sauce. Ordinarily, it'd be thickened with cornstarch, and we're not going to do that, obviously, because we don't want starch. So either 1/2 teaspoon of guar gum powder or 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum powder. Either will work. I've used both of them. I haven't used anything else. I've heard people use glucosamine, which is also plant-based, and which I've also understand can really upset some people's digestive tracts if they're sensitive to it. But I find the xanthan gum is cheap, easy to find, and it works really well. So here we go. We've got our water all nice and heated up. Now that it's all hot, we're going to turn it down to medium-low. I have it on the back burner because this burner is just too big, and I don't have a small burner near the front of my stove. So we're just going to have to do it this way. Now that our water is hot, we're going to add our rice vinegar. Don't hold your face over that while it's steaming with the rice vinegar in there. You will regret it. And we're going to add the chili paste. Yes, I hear you, Missy, but still. And our, our soy sauce, our garlic, our ginger, and we're not going to add the sesame oil yet. That doesn't go until the end. Missy is very adamant that she wishes to appear in the video, so. Hello, Missy. There's Missy. Pardon my mess. You weren't supposed to see that bit, but, you know, that's what she wanted to do. She wanted to embarrass me by making me show you the backstage of my efforts. Oh, see, don't do that. Don't leave a paper towel on the stove. That was dumb. Anyway, there's this now. I've gotten to the sweetener. I'm going to put about 1/2 to 3/4 of the sweetener in because we have to save a portion of the sweetener. I'm going to break it up. Here, we'll put this back on the stove. To use as a dispersant for the xanthan gum. You can't just dump xanthan gum into a pot of liquid because, as some of you may know, it will simply ball up into a lump. So I'm going to use this sugar substitute as a dispersant for my xanthan gum. Just make sure it's all... I like to do this with the brown sugar substitute because the brown sugar substitute is slightly sticky. And when you mix the xanthan gum powder, the little granules of the xanthan gum powder stick to the granules of the brown sugar substitute, and they really get well dispersed. Okay, so there's that. Now we're going to get our whisk. We're going to start whisking, and we're going to whisk this gradually in the dispersed xanthan gum powder. And we're just going to whisk this until everything is nicely dissolved. And we're going to heat it up. This will need to cook for a little bit. There's a little bit of spicy oil left here. Let's make sure that goes in. Now, 2 tablespoons of the chili garlic paste sounds like a lot. This is actually not going to make real super spicy chili sauce. You can use up to 4 tablespoons, which is 1/4 cup, if you want it really spicy. Okay. Now that's going to have to cook a few minutes. So while it's cooking, it's probably going to have to cook probably about 7 or 8 minutes. You're going to want to have it cooked down until it's basically as thick as you want it. The xanthan gum is going to thicken it, but it's also going to reduce a little bit and thicken. Okay, so we're just going to let this cook, and I'm going to pause the video, and I will be back with you very shortly. Hi again, precious friends. We're back. It's been about 5 minutes that our pan has been simmering, and you'll see it is quite thick. Whoops, get it in the shot, Patty. You see, it's quite thick and very luxurious. It's not really that spicy because I've only used the 2 tablespoons of the chili paste, and it's going to make a cup of sauce. So this is done. See how easy that is? And we're going to finish it with our sesame oil, because we always put that in last because it's the flavor is rather volatile, and it doesn't need to be cooked at all. So we're just going to stir that right in. Yummy. Here we go with our clean jar. This is about an 8-ounce jar. Or, yeah, probably closer to 16 ounces. Close, maybe 12. But anyway, we're going to pour this in here. And, yep, we have a little bit left over. Oh, we can get a little more in there. It's hard to judge exactly because when you let it cook a little bit, it does, of course, reduce some. Now, if you want it to be bright red like the commercial stuff, you can just put some red food coloring in it if you want to, but I like it just the way it is. So, put the lid on when it's hot. Cinch it down. Ouch. As it cools, the air pocket inside will contract and it will actually seal the jar. So at that point, you can keep it in your refrigerator. I don't recommend you keeping it in your cupboard, but you can keep it in your refrigerator for several months before you open it. If once the seal has set itself. The other thing that you can do if you really want it to seal real well is while it's hot, you can turn it upside down. Make sure it's really tightly closed when you do that, but set it upside down. And this will cause the sealing stuff in the inside of the lid to soften. And as the air pocket that you could see here now is at the bottom of the jar, as that contracts, it will really seal the jar really well. And you won't have to worry about spoilage for literally several months until you open it. Once you open the jar, you should probably use it within about, within a couple of months, within 8 to 12 weeks. But really, it's so high acidity, and the chili flakes in it actually are quite preservative. There's not a whole lot of bacteria that like to live in there. And the erythritol is slightly preservative too. But anyway, there you have it. That is our homemade Thai sweet chili sauce. I'm going to dip a little bit out into this cup so you can see what it looks like. And it's delicious. Spicy and sweet and garlicky and gingery. And we're going to be using this on a couple of really delicious recipes upcoming on my channel. So thank you for joining me for Thai sweet chili sauce. I will see you again soon with another great recipe. Until then, peace, love, and meat. I love you all. Bye.